Machines are a definite companion to our workload, but only until workers don't mishandle them. From annihilating an under-construction bridge to completely messing up the warehouse, anything is in the cards. In this video, we witness some total idiots at work, ruining huge machines and making expensive mistakes. We all know big cranes are incredible machines and can lift up to 60,000 tons of weight. And why not? Because this crane is holding a massive concrete bridge. But there's always a trick to it, because if you miscalculate, heavy weights can turn the whole thing unbalanced. And the worst is the only option. Here's more footage showing exactly the same mistake. Big cranes being manipulated for holding up the weight bigger than their capacity, and resultantly making expensive mistakes while turning the whole machine upside down. On another instance, footage brings us a moment when a small mistake claimed a dreadful tragedy. During dam construction, a hydraulic crane was mounted on the top, but unfortunately, it wasn't held tight enough. Consequently, it fell and claimed massive financial losses. Machines demand extra care, especially when you're dealing with heavy weights. In December 2019, at the port of Puerto Ayora in the Galapagos, footage captures a crane trying to load a generator with 2,000 liters of diesel. But unfortunately, it swayed too much, ending up in a disaster. The crane, the container, and the boat, all three sink on the shore. The thing is, you gotta be careful while lifting heavy weights. Here in this footage, you see why. Two big cranes have been tasked to lift this massive machine. Things seem to be going as per normal, until that. The loosened rope broke, putting the whole exercise on halt and unbalancing both cranes. To be honest, there are so many creative ways of ruining your day. This worker is tasked to forklift bottles from a warehouse, but as he tries to lift them, he ends up doing the worst. I think this is exactly how you break 2,000 beer bottles at work. Here is another remarkable piece of footage showing us a worker who is probably showing off some off-road skills. I literally have no idea what the guy's trying to do, but as soon as he turns around, he ends up tilting the mini excavator down. I really hope he's okay. Look at this guy. He's trying to load an excavator in a completely unique way. I mean, he's creative, you gotta give him that. But will this work? We'll see. Nah, it didn't work out well. Now he has to think of another creative way of picking this up. In this footage, you can see a massive gas turbine being held to be placed at the required position. Everything seems normal until that. Apparently, the supports were too weak to handle this heavy turbine, causing it to break mid-air. It heavily damaged the machine, but luckily, no one was hurt. This is another incredible footage of an interview. Well, initially it was definitely an interview, but this worker took all the attention in the end. He literally drove the powerful Caterpillar excavator over this expensive Mercedes. I'm not sure if he's going to save his job. Well, bulldozers and loaders have so many applications to them. Demolition is definitely one of them. But this driver misjudged the situation and ended up getting the whole bulldozer stuck in the rubble. I think for a good reason. They say that it's better to plan before you do what you do. Well, who doesn't know that cranes are amazing? Their long, powerful necks help us maneuver heavy objects. Just like this crane, which is trying to seamlessly place this heavy marble sheet. But as soon as it places it, this heavy sheet begins losing its balance, and eventually takes the whole crane with it. Back in 2018, a crane worker was tasked to save an accidented truck, but the moment it retrieved it back to its wheels, it kept on running down the hill. But wait, That crane's still attached to it. This completely imbalances it, and in moments, the savior becomes a victim. Here is another extraordinary footage, begging to be careful. A spreader is commissioned to take this container off the truck. Things are going seamlessly. Well, almost. But the driver forgot to untie the locks and ended up lifting the whole truck with it. Unbelievable! When you're a professional, you have to be careful. But this does not seem to be the case in this footage. The spreader worker, despite unfavorable conditions, has taken the container mid-air, and now heavy winds are making it sway dangerously. I really hope no one gets hurt. This is the moment when a bulldozer driver took the machine into sludge. No matter how much he tried to pull it back, it's not possible because the mud is too gluey to allow any solid friction. Pity how a small mistake has led the problem solver bulldozer to become a problem itself. In India, this footage captured two cranes trying to lift up a downed truck. However, in midair, weak supports turned out to be inefficient, and one of the ropes broke, putting heavy pressure on one of the cranes, resulting in it to fall straight into the lake along with the truck. Complete havoc. This is a CAT 798 dump truck being loaded on a ship for transport, while the crane is trying to hold this 30,000 kilogram heavy machine. However, when it was about to be seamlessly placed on the vessel, the support fell off midair. Luckily, it fell straight onto the ship, and no harm was reported. This lowboy truck is a semi-trailer. Its robust build allows it to transport heavy and tall machines, and today's no different, as it carries a massive crane through one of the difficult pathways. But soon, on the downhill, the driver is not able to put the brakes on in time, resulting in a damaging accident. In this footage, a crane in Piauí, Brazil is trying to place a boat into the water. However, before it was able to navigate the water, it collapsed and went completely off balance, annihilating the vessel. Luckily, no life damages were recorded. At Busan's Newport, a tragedy happened when the driver of a container ship crashed into a large crane. This contact was so strong that several cranes were demolished. This hampered the whole port operation and ceased working for several months. Luckily, workers were able to secure their positions and no lives were lost. This is an incredible moment when a forklift driver tries to smoothly navigate through the narrow space while ending up bumping into the right shelves. This is the moment when a domino chain reaction started and the shelves fell one after the other until it was all a mess. A crane was tasked to bring down a stuck Liebherr excavator, but lifting a 253-ton machine is not child's play. This weight completely baffles the crane, and the whole saving event was turned into destruction. One misjudgment led to a complete havoc, and both pieces of equipment fell down helplessly. This footage shows a lowboy truck hauling a big tanker, trying to take a turn. But it's never easy to take sharp turns, especially while carrying such heavy weight at your back. Just when the driver forced a little, the tanker tilted and made a whole wreckage. A complete disaster. An unexpected happened when a spreader tried to pick up a container off the truck. But before it was completely attached to it, the driver attempted to lift it up, and this was never going to be any good. The situation turned to havoc while the worker ran for his life. On an under-construction site, a crane was commissioned for work. Things seemed normal, but it was the silence before the storm. Due to ill maintenance, the crane fell, and it miraculously just missed the worker. Imagine if he hadn't taken this last step. I'm sure the story would have been a lot more grueling. It shocked the workers when a crane carrying hundreds of heavy iron rods collapsed. Metal plummeted down with a great speed. Fortunately, no one was hurt. Understandably, for instances like these, it's difficult to put blame on anyone, but tools should definitely be maintained regularly to prevent any undesired events like these. And now, let us move on to our subscriber pick of the day. This image was sent to us by one of our subscribers. Similarly, if you ever wish to know more about an image you've come across, just send it on over to us. Who knows, we might even feature it in one of our videos. This image resonates to the event when a Belaz 7530 load truck was being used to transport a dump at a mine, but as the excavator put the slag heap in, it caught fire, and the whole scene turned to havoc. See you next time.